since it is 10:30 for this one, and it looks like we're going to Chattanooga. He's not on the road yet, considering it's probably a good 3-hour drive with traffic coming from Chattanooga to get to Silverbacks Park in suburban Atlanta, because Open Cup continues today. I feel like I need to have like some kind of reverb in my voice. Open Cup continues today. Sean McDaniel is going to be joining us here, and he's going to get the Chattanooga Red Wolves perspective on stuff, the president and GM of said Red Wolves. And let me bring Sean into the discussion here. Sean, my friend, good to see you.
Good morning.
So we are showing our beverages, and obviously I have my Mountain Dew here. Maddie is keeping her beverage close to the vest. What is your cup/mug, and what is in it this morning?
Well, it's not a fancy cup, but it's coffee, and coffee flows through my veins all day, every day.
Well, Gonzalo Pineda, the head coach of Atlanta United, was asked about this because much like you, he is always seen like this. He has that cup. He's right there with it. He was asked how many cups of coffee he has during the day. His doctor told him to peel back. He has peeled back to 14.
Yeah. Just like Coach, here's my cup. And just like Coach, I too have been requested to peel back. And look, peel back is in the eye of the beholder, but I'm well over double digits on the coffee during the day. So I feel his pain.
Wow. I mean, that's wild that you like Gonzalo Pineda are double digits in your coffee. I was not aware of this.
Yeah. And it doesn't even affect me at night, not to go off topic here, but the reality is I am a coffee addict, and I'll admit it here on the broadcast, and I probably need help.
Nothing wrong. No, sir. No. The reason that we have you on a Wall Pass Wednesday is that Wall Pass Wednesday traditionally is where I know this shocks you, but the show does go off the rails occasionally, but we go Wall Pass Wednesday. It's like I come in with a topic, you come in with a topic, we go back and forth, and we could go random and go off the walls. So the fact that you say that you are a coffee addict and go double digits with your cups of coffee, that fits what we're doing here on the morning show. It's absolutely fine. No, there is no fear in bringing up that kind of a conversation here, sir. None.
Well, if I can be a help and a voice of reason for anybody else out there, or they just want to have a support group, we can double dip for sure.
All right,
we can start one together because I'm in the same boat too. I have a coffee right next to me, and it probably won't be my last one of the day.
Yeah,
well,
so
at least we have 3 in the group now, so we can launch.
Yes, exactly. So a reason we had you on is we wanted to discuss a couple of things. We wanted to discuss the season to date in USL League One, discuss what's going on at the stadium because you're playing a lot of road games. But first and foremost, topic tonight is Open Cup. That's the first topic on the board. What was it like to survive your first round match to get ready for this one going up tonight against Apotheos here in suburban Atlanta?
I mean, I hate that we were on the drama side of this, but the reality is this is what the Open Cup is all about. It is about teams rising to an occasion that typically they might not be predicted to do. And while I thought we had a decent match, the reality is we had to fight for our life all the way into overtime. And tonight's going to be no different. Absolutely no different. We're out of town. We're at a well-known park for sure, but something that's not familiar to us. And it's the U.S. Open Cup. It's what exists for teams to be able to rise and win. It's dramatic. It's drama. It's everything.
Maddie Cruz for Sean McDaniel. Go for it.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, I forgot I had to unmute myself. That's important if you want to.
She's stuck drinking her coffee with a mute button. That's what's going on.
No, guys, listen, it happens. It happens occasionally. But I mean, looking back, the Open Cup is full of surprises and everything like that. What has been at least the report going in and playing against Apotheos in Silverback Stadium? I know you guys don't know. You guys know it's a historic stadium and not, but what has been the message like around the club this week leading into this match against Apotheos?
Well, I think we can just look at even this year's Open Cup, even though we've had just one and a partial second round completed, if there's anything that's predictable, it's the unpredictability of the outcome of the matches. And the way we look at it, if you're in League One or Championship, MLS, you got a professional club, there's all sorts of scouting and video, and we know who the players are. So it's not difficult to really know about your competition. It's very difficult for us to know who we're playing tonight. That's why it's always a surprise. And, we're putting a good side out there tonight. This isn't, we're not looking past this. This is a top squad for the Red Wolves because we want to win. And we think it's important to win. And when you go into an unknown ocean, so to speak, we have to go with our best 18 because we need the victory because we don't know what to expect from the other side of it.
Yeah, and that's been a key to all of this. And I think that it's also what a lot of folks kind of put to the side, I think to a certain degree, is that you're already in league schedule. I mean, you guys just started league play. You're having to do all of this on the road so far because of a topic that we'll get into in just a little bit. But you've got, you've played on the road. You've played the one match so far, and you're having to do things all over the place. So maybe being on the road, considering that you might be used to being on the road, playing away from home for as long as you will be, it might be part of the equation. But at the same time, it's like midweek weekend. And you said first choice lineup to get you ready for what's going on the weekend, but you're not taking this for granted. It's going to be an interesting challenge, not just now, but tonight and then going forward because of everything that you and Scott McKenzie and Jimmy Weekly and the staff have to juggle with your schedule, making sure you advance in this tournament.
Well, and to even stretch that out further, John, the team went down last night. We went down last night. We stayed in the hotel. We had our team meal. This is treated like every road game we go on. It is that important to us. And, for us, yeah, we've had a delay to our start, particularly at home. The best analogy I have is if you've ever been to a pet store and you have a bunch of puppies in a kennel and you open the door out for the puppies to come tumbling out. That's our players. Like, they want to play. They're ready to kick a soccer ball. They're tired of just watching other teams play. So the expectation's high, certainly from the club standpoint and our fans, and we're treating it as a road game. It's something we need to have success with.
Madison Cruz, go for it.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it also goes from that last match that you guys had against Brockton FC United. You guys had 2 goals leading. You were leading 2-0. And then they were able to come back, equal it up, going in extra time, and you guys battled it out. You guys made it 4-2. What does that say about the resilience of your squad and knowing that if something like that does happen again, you guys know how to battle back?
I think, Madison, what we gather from that is we were shown a red card, so we're down a man late. We were not playing at our home stadium at CHI Memorial Stadium, so it might as well have been on the road. It was a nice facility, but certainly not one we're used to. So when you get to this level in a professional career, excuse making is something that can't exist, because they played on the same field we did. They had the same parameters, same officials, same barriers that we did. I think what it really says is the game's not over until the referee blows the final whistle. And for our players, satisfaction in a tie or a loss is not okay. And going into overtime, that was our best football that we had played the last 2 periods of overtime. And I believe it will carry over and translate into tonight's match.
Sean McDaniel, President and GM, Chattanooga Red Wolves and USL League One, hanging out with us here for a bit of a catch-up and a bit of an Open Cup preview as they play Apotheos in the NPSL tonight. 7:45 kick, according to U.S. Soccer. They pushed it back just a little bit, so 7:45 kick here in suburban Atlanta as they go up against Apotheos, the runner-up in the NPSL season in 2023. For those who haven't had the chance to see the roster build and see what Red Wolves look like in 2024, for those that either are going to the match tonight or going to catch it on, the ways that things are streamed these days, you and I are in the TV booth. We're going to do the open to the show. They do the title card over everything. And, hey, you're at Silverbacks Park, and it's Red Wolves and Apotheos coming up here in Open Cup. They go to the floor, they go to the field, and they talk about the key players for Chattanooga Red Wolves. From your perspective here early in 2024, with one Open Cup match and the match against Lexington in the barn, who should folks gravitate toward when they're watching Red Wolves tonight go up against Apotheos?
We rebuilt the roster this year. We kept 5 players from last year, so when Scott and I sat down, the season's over, we really worked at what type of culture, footballing, what are all the pieces that need to come together for us to not just make the playoffs, but win something. And what people should expect to see tonight is a great mixture of old and new, familiar and new. And what I mean by that, we have familiar faces that will be in the 18 tonight. Tim Trilk, former Red Wolf, is now back with us. Leo Fola, former Red Wolf, now back with us. Ricky Ruiz, former Red Wolf, now back with us. Long-term players, Walefi, who's been with us since the beginning. Couple that with some new, young, exciting talent. Omar Hernandez from Dalton, Georgia. We have Lucas Coutinho, who's been a League One stalwart from its inception. We have Jameel Roberts, who scored the winning goal against the Chattanooga Red Wolves in the national final 2 years ago. So we've blended those new faces with familiar faces, and let's check back around 10:30 tonight to see if that worked. But I think that's the formula for success.
Maddie, go for it.
I think that's so interesting. You rebuilding this club and rebuilding the team, adding in those previous players. What was that decision making like to keep those players and then bringing those in? And how has that dynamic been, having them as veterans and then having these new players step up?
I think the best way to describe that, Madison, would be by when you've moved back to a familiar setting, the run up to comfort is a lower run up. And what I mean by that, for our guys that we brought back who were here for a couple of years previously, when they stepped on the field, it was take a deep breath and I'm back in Chattanooga. So they brought to the new faces, hey, this is the culture in Chattanooga. This is what to expect. So the preseason, we actually get to work on footballing stuff and minimize the periphery items of relocating to a new city. And while it may sound like something trivial, the reality is we have been young men from all over the world who've laid eyes on Chattanooga for the first time on February 1st. Well, we blend that in with veterans and players who have been here for a number of years, and they really put their arm around them and say, this is what to expect. This is how it works around here. And so far, so good. I know we've only played 2 matches, but I really like our roster, and I really love how we've been training, and hopefully we'll see the fruits of that tonight.
When you have a new player come in, since you opened this door, let me ask you. When a new player comes to town, there's only so much you can do with WhatsApp and texting and FaceTime and all that kind of stuff. When they finally come into town and they're a part of the Red Wolves organization, do you pair those new players that don't know Eastridge from Adam's House Cat with a veteran in a living situation? But is there a buddy system when it comes to Red Wolves and getting these younger players and these newer players acclimated to what it means to be there in Eastridge, in Chattanooga, and in USL League One? How does that work?
We actually, I'll take a couple giant steps back. I'm going to give Scott a lot of credit here because, at the end of the day, the players want to not just be compensated well and have a great environment to play in and live in, but they need to know that the head coach, that the manager is someone who's going to value them. And what Scott did such a great job of for the new players, especially, was he sold the city. He sold the stadium. He sold all the things that Chattanooga has that perhaps even championship teams don't even have, and spent a lot of time the PowerPoint presentation, the phone calls, the video conferencing. So when the player made the decision to sign with us, it wasn't just a blind signing. They actually had real data to look at and evaluate, so that when they arrive, although they may not be paired off with a veteran, when they're in their group dynamic and their group setting, it really is reality now coming to fruition over what was presented to them on Zoom meetings and PowerPoint presentations. And again, the acclimation period becomes far less stressful and strenuous because of the veterans and those who've been here before, and really all the perks and amenities that the club offers.
Maddie, go for it.
I think that's awesome that you have that connection and having that, because I feel like it does a lot for a player when they get to know who the coach is. They get to know a little bit more about it before they make this decision. I think it's an easier transition when they come here and they play, because they already know everything they need to know. I think that's really important. So and also too, I mean, I love that. Sorry, I just had to go in a little like tangent there with that one. But looking back to, obviously you mentioned that last Open Cup game, it was a home game, but it really wasn't a home game. So what is the stadium looking like now? Do you have an update on what that stadium is going to be looking like? Any ideas of a home opener type date for y'all?
So the decision was made by the owner, Bob Martino, back almost at the immediate conclusion of the season last year, to remove the synthetic turf, which was wonderful, and put natural grass down. And there's a number of reasons for him doing that, but most notably, it's a soccer stadium. I mean, when we start talking about the intention and use for CHI Memorial Stadium, it's for soccer matches, not much of anything else, certainly no other sporting events. So putting natural grass down is, I think the players prefer it. And if we can do it, we do it. The challenge we ran into had nothing to do with the grass, the timeline, but we live in the deep South, people, and it rains in the winter and spring. And in some years we get fortunate, and in other years it just rains a whole bunch. And this year it just rained too much, too recently for us to be prepared to play certainly our original home opener, which was March 30th.
Right.
And we just said, hey, let's postpone them, reschedule. And now we're slated to kick off April 20th at home. And the field looks, I mean, I just was out there yesterday afternoon. It's coming along wonderfully, and fully anticipate having a great venue and pitch to play on.
Are you allowed to step on the grass? Do you test it with your foot? Do you sit there and go down to the field level and kind of tamp on it a little bit, or does the groundskeeper sit there and yell at you?
Well, we're almost to where the groundskeeper's yelling at me because it's sacred ground for sure. But man, what a team we have, ensuring they work within the environment and the conditions to get that finished. It looks great. And if I could get out of bed without hurting anymore, I'd like to kick a soccer ball on it one day.
Well, we are looking forward to when the grass is in place and gets the official thumbs up from the groundskeepers and everybody installing it up there at CHI Memorial. When are you leaving and heading this way for the 7:45 kick?
My ride, which is our ticketing superstar, Owen Click, he and I are driving down together probably early this afternoon, so we can partake of the local bar scene and then go cheer us on. So hopefully be down there, before all the Atlanta traffic gets nutty.
Okay, so then you're leaving 3 days ago. I understand.
That's about right.
Yep. 7:45 tonight on a bunch of streaming platforms. It is Chattanooga Red Wolves and Apotheos in Open Cup. Sean, as always, great to catch up with you, my friend. Get the updates of what's going on up there in Chattanooga. We will see you tonight in person, just kind of hanging out and shaking hands, and we'll catch up with you soon, my friend. See you in a couple hours.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Maddie.